evening and welcome to a brand new week of Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Tonight, as the Congress goes to court over the Centre's decision to impose President's rule in Uttarakhand, was the imposition of Article 356 justified, as the BJP says, or the murder of democracy on the eve of a trust vote, as the Congress alleges? Also tonight, what makes Virat Kohli tick? India's cricket superstar is the darling of fans as he smashes his way through the T20 World Cup. Is King Kohli the next Sachin Tendulkar? That's coming up in about 30 minutes. But first, a day after his government was dismissed, Harish Rawat went to the governor of Uttarakhand today with a letter of support from 34 MLAs, marking the latest twist in a bitter political battle between the Congress and the BJP. The Congress, meanwhile, has gone to court today, saying the imposition of President's rule a day before the scheduled floor test was unconstitutional. But the BJP stands by the decision.
A day after the centre imposed President rule in Uttarakhand, a defiant Harish Rawat marched to the governor's residence in the capital with his MLAs and gave a letter of support from 34 legislators. This as the BJP's 27 MLAs finally made their way back home after almost 10 days of being moved around Delhi and Rajasthan in a bid to ensure that they were not poached by the Congress.
चंद घंटों के अंदर विधानसभा के फ्लोर पर बहुमत का फैसला हो जाता, लेकिन हमको और उत्तराखंड की विधानसभा को षड्यंत्रपूर्ण तरीके से उस बहुमत को सिद्ध करने के अवसर से वंचित किया गया है.
It's now perhaps a situation of wait and watch. Harish Rawat presented this list of 34 MLAs who support him to form a government. In fact, all his supporters waiting to see what the governor decides. In fact, the Congress has also approached the High Court and has challenged the imposition of President's rule in the state. Meanwhile, the rebel Congress leaders, who in fact have been disqualified from the party, have also approached the High Court. With this, in the High Court at Nainital for over 3 hours, senior Congress leader and lawyer Abhishek Manu Singhvi challenged the centre's decision to impose President's rule in the state.
अगर ये सही कारनामे लिए होते, काम किए होते, भ्रष्टाचार नहीं फैलाया होता, इतनी गलत टैक्टिस नहीं अपनाई होती, संविधान का गला नहीं घोटा होता, तो ये स्थिति नहीं होती.
नहीं, ये जो ड्रैकुला की तरह जो कांग्रेस सरकारों का खून चूसने का काम नरेंद्र मोदी जी कर रहे हैं, उत्तराखंड की जनता इसको बर्दाश्त नहीं करेगी.
Amid the allegations and counter-allegations, Uttarakhand, which has seen 7 chief ministers in 16 years, will have to elect its next government in less than a year. With Ketki Angre in Delhi and Tanya Sahili in Dehradun, Siddharth Pandey for NDTV.
Well, as they say, picture abhi baki hai as far as this political story is concerned. Let me go straight across to Mr. Soli Sorabji, the former Attorney General of India, who's joining us on the program tonight along with our panel. Mr. Sorabji, your thoughts on this move by the centre. Do you believe President's rule under the circumstances was justified?
Well, Nidhi, the President rule was imposed on the basis of the governor's report. Now, I have not seen the governor's report, but if the report gives cogent and credible reasons to suggest breakdown of constitutional machinery, then President's rule was not only justified but was imperative. But that all depends upon the contents of the governor's report. And one thing I may say before we go further, the matter is sub judice in the High Court. I believe it's coming up tomorrow in the Nainital High Court. So whatever comments we make will be subject to what the High Court decides.
Well, what you said is important about the governor's report, and we don't actually officially know what the governor's report says. We have Mr. Vivek Tankha, the former Additional Solicitor General of India, also joining us. Mr. Tankha, all we know about the governor's report really is from officials who are speaking on background. You know, the same governor had asked for a floor test today, and then, you know, there were a series of reports that were sent to the centre, 3 of them apparently, and it's not exactly clear what the exact reason was for there to be a constitutional breakdown of as was cited by the centre. In your view, Mr. Tankha, from what you have heard and read, do you believe this was a fit case for central rule?
Nidhi, as far as the matter is concerned, it's before the High Court, and the High Court will decide whether it's justified or not justified. That's a legal issue.
Correct.
But as a common man, what we kept hearing, that on 18 there was a division And on 19th, they said you should go for a floor test on 28th. On 26th, there was the order of the speaker disqualifying 9 MLAs, I think. And on 27th, the president rule is imposed. So the sequence is very disconcerting. It looks very embarrassing to have a governor's rule in the circumstances in which it has been imposed. I cannot connect this with the 18 proceedings, because if that was so, then on 19th they would have taken this step. Moreover, the speaker is the master of the house, and whatever he decides in the house is final. That also was so in the parliament this time, when the Aadhaar bill was presented in the Rajya Sabha, and it was presented as a money bill. The argument was the speaker has certified this as a money bill, so that is final, and there is no review on it. So I'm wondering how the government is claiming that on the basis of 18th, they are looking at a breakdown of our constitutional machinery on 28th, when nothing in between supports their action.
Well, that is an important point. And before I open it up to Mr. Bhushan and to the politicians, Mr. Sarabji, I just want to read out what Mr. Arun Jaitley actually has written today on the reasons. So we don't know exactly what the governor's report said. Like I said, we only know from what official sources are saying. But Mr. Jaitley has explained, exactly, it's about the budget. He basically says that 35 members, it appears, voted against the appropriation bill. Therefore, it was defeated, and that there is evidence that was there both prior and subsequent to the assembly session to suggest that they had asked for a division of votes, and that there are strong facts to suggest that this bill was actually defeated. As a consequence, the government had to resign. So, therefore, when this is the reason that is cited, do you believe that the centre would have waited for this long then to impose President's rule? It is a rather odd sequence of events.
Well, it is, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's illegal or unconstitutional. And besides, this has to be approved by the Rajya Sabha. The proclamation of President's rule has to be approved by the Rajya Sabha. So I think in a way this is academic. I don't know how the government will get the support in Rajya Sabha.
That too is an important point. Before I open it up to Sambit and to Jaiveer, Bharat Bhushan, as a commentator and journalist, how do you see the way things have played out?
I see two conspiracies were playing out simultaneously in Uttarakhand. The first was whether the budget was passed or not, and whether during the passing of the budget, the 9 rebel Congress MLAs, had they firmly joined hands with the BJP or not. Now, Mr. Jaitley is an eminent lawyer. He's also the finance minister. He says it appears that the bill was not passed. Now, equally, you could say it appeared to the speaker that the budget had been passed. And as somebody said, the speaker is the master of the house. So, even if he has taken a wrong decision, perhaps it could have been challenged. There could be other procedures. You could move against the speaker. You could, proceed to impeach the speaker, or at least go through the motions. But sitting in Delhi, the BJP minister or the BJP cabinet cannot decide whether the budget was passed or not, if that is indeed the basis for imposing President's rule.
That is what has been cited by Mr. Jaitley.
Right, so that's one conspiracy. The second conspiracy is between the Harish Rawat government and the speaker. The speaker disqualified these 9 MLAs on the basis of what? He says a whip was issued. A whip was issued for voting on the budget.
Yeah.
But then there was no division, there was no voting. If there was no voting, there was no defiance of the whip. So,
right.
for anti-party activities...
On what basis have you disqualified the MLAs?
Anti-party activities. Now, that is for party general secretaries and party president to take into consideration. A whip for the budget was not violated. So, therefore, the speaker was also being conspiratorial in disqualifying these people a day before the vote of confidence. So, there were two conspiracies working simultaneously.
So, Sambit Patra, then let me get to the point, which is that why not wait for the trust vote to take place? Because at the end of the day, that is where a government's strength is meant to be tested as per the Bombay judgment of the Supreme Court also from 1994. The real test of a government is on the floor of the House. Why not let, if Mr. Rawat doesn't have the numbers, that floor test could have happened today. He would have been defeated.
Two things, Nidhi, but before I come to the specific question that you have asked me, let me in a very rhetorical way say that most of the people who are questioning the Bharatiya Janata Party today were questioning us about a month ago when the Arunachal Pradesh government had a President's Rule imposition, and to their answer the Supreme Court said that, well, yes, whatever the government had done was absolutely right. So please, before questioning us, remember that whatever the President does, he does after due deliberance, after the Governor's report, and after he firmly believes that, well, yes, the constitutionality has been breached somewhere. Now coming to the specific question that you have asked as to why we could not, in the sense the government could not wait for 28 when Harish Rawat was supposed to approve his majority on the floor of the House. A, because as rightly pointed out by Mr. Arun Jaitley, that on March 18th itself, the government has been reduced to majority. Why was it reduced to majority? Because it's not that the Speaker does not act according to his whims and fancies. The Speaker also has to function according to the norms of the Constitution, and the norm of the Constitution is, even if a single member wants a division of votes for a bill, then naturally a division of vote is what the Speaker has to concede to. It's not as per the wish of the Speaker that he would not allow a division of vote and he will go for a voice vote. Over here, Mr. Jaitley has clearly stated that there are written evidences to the fact that 9 of the rebel Congress MLAs had in written demanded for the division of vote prior to the voting took place and thereafter as well. This is the first reason. Secondly,
so why not impose President's Rule 2 days after that happened?
I'm coming
why
to
wait
it.
For the eve of
I'm explaining that. I'm explaining that, Nidhi. Technically, I'm explaining everything. Remember on 27th, that is this Sunday, what happened was the Speaker himself agreed to the fact that the bill did not pass. It was a money bill. Appropriation bill is a money bill. How did the Speaker agree that the bill did not get passed? By disqualifying the 9 MLAs. You can disqualify an MLA only when the MLA overrules the whip of the party, does not function according to the whip of the party. Saying that the MLAs of the Congress party did not rule as per the whip during the budget bill passage, that is during the appropriation bill passage, concedes to the fact that, well, yes, the bill has not been passed. When a money bill falls on the floor of the House, the government has to resign the very next day. So immediately when the Speaker agreed to the fact that, well, the bill has not passed, what other option is left? When you know that this is a state which has no budget, when you know that the appropriation bill is not passed, because up till now even a certified copy of the same, that is the appropriation bill, has not reached from the Speaker's office to the Governor's office. And secondly, the composition of the House was also to be changed. I mean, look, none other than the Chief Minister was caught on the camera, because now the authenticity of the video is established by the CFSL laboratory of Chandigarh, that, well, Mr. Harish Rawat was trying to buy and sell member of Parliament, member of Legislative Assembly.
No, so I got to take the point that you made about the Speaker to Javeed. Javeed, does the BJP have a point there that if the, and you know, Mr. Bhushan made the same point, that if the Speaker has decided to disqualify these 9 MLAs, then is the Speaker conceding that they didn't vote for the appropriations bill in the first place and therefore that it was defeated? There was no whip that was violated then.
Nidhi, I will make my make my point on a dimmerer, giving a benefit of doubt, and let's say for a minute conceding to what Sambit says. Now I want to say 3-4 things, and I want to separate the wheat from the chaff. Number one, the fact of the matter is BJP has lost faith in electoral process after Delhi and Bihar, and hence this brutal broad day murder of democracy. Now, if you see the pattern, it is very clear that BJP has got addicted to this habit of toppling the governments and is gaining a reputation of a notorious assembly grabber through undemocratic ways. Now, let's test this argument legally. Number one, Nidhi, let's all be aware, and great stalwarts are sitting on your show, Mr. Sorabji and Mr. Tankha. Article 365 is the last option. But BJP made it the first option, and since government has come to the power, an exception in the constitution has become a casual affair. And it has become a casual affair. Article 365 cannot be misinterpreted to rob a state of a democratically elected government on a flimsy grounds. Now, 2 reasons which Mr. Jaitley gives and my friend Sambit is arguing. Firstly, whether we like it or we don't like it, Speaker is right or wrong. SR Bommai in para 119 says, the floor test is the ultimate test to prove majority. Pending a floor test, government cannot be toppled on a subjective satisfaction of the governor or the honorable president. But what was the impending emergency? What was the immediate treatment that had to be done? The president rule had to be imposed. Number 2, Now coming to the speaker. Now, where is Mr. Arun Jaitley can supersede the Speaker of the House, which legally is the sole person to decide whether a bill was passed or not passed. It is Congress case, it was passed. Whether the court will decide or Mr. Arun Jaitley will decide now. Third, look at the sheer hypocrisy of this, Nidhi. Madhya Pradesh saw a dance of death when Vyapam happened. A complete breakdown of law and order. BJP did not even wink. Today, two governments in consecutive sessions have been on some flimsy grounds.
Okay, but let
what
me,
is this,
let me take this, let me take this point about the speaker to
grabbing
Mr. Tankha.
power through undemocratic ways in a
No, I just want to take this point about the speaker to
a
Mr.
last point.
Tankha.
Grabbing power through undemocratic ways
Okay.
looks attractive in short gain, but now in the long run, it's a dangerous game for democracy.
Okay, well, it's a game that unfortunately the Congress also played many times in the past, if you recall, especially when Indira Gandhi was Prime Minister. But having said
After
that,
SR Bomai, not even a single.
okay, let me get Mr. Tankha into this. Mr. Tankha, on this point of what the Speaker did, now, do you take the BJP's point that if the Speaker decided to disqualify these 9 MLAs, it actually negated what happened as far as the appropriations bill was concerned?
Nidhi, first of all, I would like to clarify that the Arunachal matter has been heard by the Supreme Court and the judgment is reserved and we can expect the judgment any time. So, Samvit may not be right to say that the judgment has come. Number two, while we were arguing the Arunachal matter, we read to the Supreme Court those passages of Constitutional Bench judgment where Supreme Court has said that the Speaker, while deciding these matters, cannot be interdicted by any court. It's only after he has decided the matter that the court can review the decision. So now, as far as the defection goes, it is a matter which the courts will decide, but so far as the Speaker has taken a decision, that is final.
So you're saying that...
And as far as the House goes...
Yeah, go ahead.
House goes, the Speaker is the master of the House.
Okay.
Is the master of the House, and nobody else can interfere with that.
Mr. Sorabji, do you agree with that? That whatever the decision was of the Speaker, that ultimately the battles could be fought later, but that do you believe the floor test should have gone ahead? Because the governor had called for the floor test. Should the government have at least waited for that floor test to happen?
Well, actually, it would have been more appropriate, but the fact that it didn't happen doesn't invalidate the President's rule. That's my point. It may be a question of propriety, but not of illegality.
Mr. Tankha, it may be a question of propriety, but it's not a question of legality, says Mr. Sorabji.
I respect Mr. Sorabji a lot, but I would like to humbly say that Bomai's case has said the only test of a legitimate government is the floor test.
Can I?
Nothing else. I mean, in a secretariat, you can't decide the continuance or dismissal of a government.